Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Don't worry, Jack. We're still going to play the whole song. Don't worry about it.
I didn't want
Alright.
to keep Jack waiting. So that was all.
Yeah, no, I know. But, yep, we bring up hype to these streams. That's what we do. Where's Tom at? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. But thank you all. The support right now is crazy on this channel. Welcome, everyone, to this stream. I might have my cam on a little bit later on. I only woke up like 25 minutes ago, so very good. Well done, Harvey. Good consistency. We are back with another video on the channel, and we are here with the match review / match previews. We've been doing 2 in 1. Love to see it. We've got Plymouth Argyle as a Portsmouth match review, and we've got Jack, the Young Fan Podcast, on here for Oxford versus Plymouth Argyle as well. So we've got the match preview for that as well. So fantastic. So we've got loads to cover today. We're busy. I want to say at least 3 come on Wednesday vids in this. Okay, Graham. And afternoon as well. So
Come on, Wednesday!
really,
there's
we're
more of
already
them
starting
already.
it. Okay, we should have done it when we're going through the predictions, but okay. But thank you, anyway. But we've got Craig on today. We got Jack as usual, the fraudulent mess. We got Liam and Jack, the Unfan Podcast. So we got 5 people on today. So it's going to be a very, very good show. Hope you all enjoy it today. But
do you know what's really funny?
what?
Are we doing predictions for Tuesdays in this one, or are we doing it?
No, I'll say mine tomorrow with Nick.
We'll say it tomorrow because it's better.
I'll do mine in this one because I won't be here tomorrow, so I'll do mine in this one if that's all right.
Yeah, same.
Okay then, fair play. But what do we go through first? What do we go through first today?
I'd say talk about the Oxford game, because of course Jack's only on for half an hour,
Yeah,
so I'd just do that.
So
obviously, if you have any thoughts about the Pompey game, Jack, by all means, throw them in.
We will all have our thoughts on the Pompey game afterwards, but mainly as well because it's on Tuesday. We're going to go through the Oxford game because obviously it's an anticipated game. We beat Oxford at Home Park 1-0 the last time we met. Very, very close game, and I don't know how. I think it was about how many chances we had in that game. I think we had loads of chances in that game, and we ended up getting a goal that was coming for us. And I think it was Whittaker who scored for us as well. Freaking hell! Another player
Against Oxford, this was, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Stevie. Stevie's in the chat. Welcome. But obviously, as this is an anticipated game, I feel like a lot of people, like obviously Liam said, the bookies are writing us off because it's at Oxford. Ipswich has lost there. Derby's still going to play there. And Sheffield Wednesday's still going to play there. They pulled off decent results. We'll see. We'll see what happens in this, as apparently we're not favourites. But what do you feel this game could bring, Jack, for Young Fan Podcast?
I imagine a lot of difficulty from an Oxford perspective. It's not going to be easy. You mentioned there about the bookies. I wouldn't read too much into it. We're in absolutely woeful form. We've got a decent point against MK Dons, and I use the word decent quite lightly, but when you look at where we both are in the league table, that is a good point. As for yourself, you're high flying. You're not top of the league. Are you top of the league now? Have you gone back?
We are now.
You are back.
Ipswich, yeah.
Because Sheffield Wednesday drew, didn't they? So you are now
Yeah.
top of the league, which is good. You had a bit of a week off, but you're now back to where you will feel you belong after a really good, convincing result against Pompey. And touching on Pompey game, I know we'll speak about Oxford, but the Portsmouth game for you is a really big statement because you did what potential champions do, which is seal games off when you need to. There was a bit of a fluffy moment at one point when Pompey came forward and had a chance to get back into the game. They made it 2-1. They then had sort of a few more chances to go and maybe get an equaliser and completely change the way the game was going to go. And then you did exactly what you need to do, which is go and get that third and seal the game off. And I spoke to Tom from 4-0 Written Over It. He's not a happy bunny at the moment, as you can imagine. And the way that he was describing it was the fact that obviously you did have moments. They did have moments. They did have chances, but you did what you needed to do and go up the other end and put the ball on the back of the net and finish the game off. So that's a massive moment for you. And also, I think a big indication of what we can see and what we have seen from Plymouth this season, and what hopefully you'll be seeing for the run-in as well when we come to the end of the season in May. But yeah, coming into the Oxford game, it's going to be a massive challenge. We know that. We know that's going to be a huge obstacle we've got to face. You did mention there we've sort of have pulled off some minor miracles against Ipswich there a couple of weeks ago, but since then things have gone from bad to worse. 1 point from 15, four losses on the bounce, a draw in the last game, winless in the last 5. We're in absolutely horrendous form. We're in a lot of trouble, you'd say, but we've got to basically make it as competitive and make it as difficult as we possibly can against a quality opposition in Plymouth, which will come there and I imagine turn on the heat because they know they can smell blood.
Yeah, and it'll be very well. We do expect it's a full sellout for Argyle, so we sold out the away end, which is also exciting for us as an Argyle fan point of view, and for Oxford as well. They'll at least sell out a decent amount, which will be also very great. Love your podcast, Jack. Great content, mate. Graham Turner.
I'm not quite sure which Jack he's going for, but either way,
It's definitely you. It's definitely you. It's nowhere in a million years it would be me.
Yeah. Tom was so complimentary.
He was, and that's important to say as well. It wasn't. I think Tom and Plymouth have got always a little bit of a rivalry, but I would say he was fully understanding, and I think the words that he used were the better side with the better quality at the clinical moments won the game fair and square, and I think that's a good way of reflecting.
Yeah, he's not wrong there.
You basically you're a class above, and sometimes we try and be too analytical about it. We try and break the game down too much, but the bottom line is you've got better players, you're in better form, you're a well structured side, you're high in confidence, you're top of the league. I mean, there are levels to this league, unfortunately, and although surprises can happen, sometimes the better sides just win games of football, and you prove that.
Yep.
It just baffled me that Pompey fans thought they're getting something from the game. It don't make sense.
I put on Facebook today, but why are you Portsmouth fans hiding? Because they were coming on my channel giving me all stick, and they're all hiding. You know, they've all gone into.
You know why they were confident though? It was just because Cooper and Scar are injured.
Yeah.
And you dropped points the week before, is that right?
And we dropped points the week before, but
Yeah.
that was to literally a team that's alongside with us, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that game was easily going to go one way or the other. But yeah, we just got to move on now, and we got to try and win again on Tuesday night. But as you proved, Jack, against Ipswich in January, it's not going to be that easy.
No, we've got to make it competitive.
But I think we'll win.
This is what I say to the Portsmouth fans.
No.
Oh God.
All right, there we go. That took me quite a while to do that. But also for Oxford as well, other star players that I could also name, and like Brannigan, obviously been a very, very good player for you lot, and also the loss of Taylor as well. He's moved, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone on loan to Port Vale. That's quite a late deal that happened on deadline day. Not massive in terms of what he can bring on the field and what he has brought on the field this season for Oxford. It's not a huge loss, unfortunately. I wish it was a big loss in a weird way because it meant he was performing before he left, but he wasn't. You know, unfortunately for multiple different reasons, whether that's service, whether that's his clinical edge, his fox in the box mentality, and his ability that we know he can have. He didn't have that edge. So, yeah. Frustrated in the fact that we're not scoring goals, but Matty Taylor isn't really, I don't think, the culprit for it. He's moved on, I think, for both parties. Unfortunately, he did have to offer that sort of experience and that sort of know-how that in League One is really important. The bottom line is he wasn't doing what he's paid to do, and that's score goals. So, yeah, not a huge blow in that sense, but it is another name, another striker that, you know, is not an Oxford United player that could have been some kind of, it could have made some kind of impact in this game.
Yeah. And as well, you need good clinical goal scorers in your team. But and I think there was a striker replacement that you ended up getting in January, wasn't it?
Tyler Smith, yeah, he's joined on loan from Hull City, another Hull City loanee we've had as well. We signed Brandon Fleming earlier on in the window as a fullback. But yeah, Tyler Smith's come through the door, been fairly quiet, to be honest with you, early days. And I'm a little bit, and I don't want to sort of rant on this channel too much, but I think the striking situation isn't the huge issue in my eyes. I think there's a lot of creativity issues. We're not creating chances for our strikers, and I think it's a little bit naive to think that just by replacing one striker and bringing another one in, you're going to start scoring loads of goals. Unfortunately, that isn't how football works. Yeah, I've got to create those chances, and at the moment, our XG, our chance creation, our key passes per 90, they're all so low, or lower than they have been in previous years. We're getting massively found out in that sense. So I don't think it's as simple as we're going to bring a striker and he's going to score goals. There's more to it, unfortunately. And I think Tyler Smith is unfortunately seeing the unfortunate, not benefits, it's the other word, isn't it? I think frustrations of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've seen it this season with Oxford as well, where they've just been rising and going down, rising, and then going down and rising from the bottom half, really. And it's been what's been going on really for like the last couple months, couple weeks as well. You've been going up and down, and it's just the same thing with Carl Robinson. You think he's not off pressure, and then he is got a lot of pressure on him again.
I think he is on a lot of pressure at the moment. I'll be honest. I think there's a lot of issues at that football club from top to bottom that we won't go into too much detail about. But unfortunately, Carl Robinson, being the manager, being the head coach, he's taking responsibility, and he has to take responsibility. He is the face, unfortunately, of the bad results. He is in charge of the players that are performing at a low level and not getting results. He has to take responsibility of that. It's the same in your eyes. If you weren't performing very well, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, Stephen Schumacher has to take responsibility. And that, that's what comes with being a manager in football. We're not getting results, and things are looking quite doom and gloom for everybody involved.
Do you think Robinson will be there on Tuesday night against us?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't understand is I watched Arsenal versus Oxford, and I thought for periods of that game, you guys were brilliant. Like some parts, you were the better side against Arsenal. So I don't understand why you can't play like that more regularly against better sides. Because I thought you were brilliant against Arsenal. They won the game in the end, but for parts of that, I thought you were brilliant.
I think a lot of that comes down to, I think, upping your game against opposition that you want to impress. There's cameras there, there's ITV are all got, you know, that there's doubt there was a sellout crowd. Like you say, it was the only game on television on a Monday night. The hype around it, the excitement that was building. You're going to try and, you know, you basically don't embarrass yourself. That was the mentality. And for 60 minutes, and arguably the entire game, we didn't do that. Like you said, we lost the game in the end, but for 60 minutes, we were extremely competitive when it comes down to nitty gritty of League One. Also, as well, and I think you make a really good point. I think there's a big difference between the way that a Premier League side will play and a League One side will play, and not in the sense that the obvious being the difference in quality, but the difference between like the intensity of the game, the way they press you, the way they press you is completely different. You don't have as much time on the ball in League One. You know, in the Premier League, you can see those centre halves, you see those midfielders having time to sort of sit on the ball and spring a pass to 40, 50 yards. That isn't possible in League One. You're going to get pressed straight away. You're going to lock on to players, and then the whole tactical element of the game is completely different. But I do get your point. But unfortunately, from the Arsenal game onwards, we've been nothing short than dismal.
Yeah, exactly. We got a decent amount of comments through here. Hello,
I
Connor.
look at Connor's the
Bolton fan.
most because I'm still
Welcome.
shell shocked that Bolton beat Peterborough 5-0 yesterday.
Yeah, 5-0. 5-0.
Massive
And
win.
obviously not beat Derby, that's huge as well. 3-2. That's massive.
No, I'm glad Wycombe beat them. That's done us a huge favour, that has, because Derby were looking to breathe down on our next, Sheffield Wednesday's next, especially Ipswich's next.
Are you doing the roundup today,
done
Jack?
us the biggest of favours yesterday.
Your podcast.
Yes, yeah, no, that's what I'm going to be filming at sort of roughly 12:30. So that should be out for the evening. And this game as well, we've been speaking about Plymouth Pompey. That's a big game, and that'll be definitely one that we mention.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Only
doing?
problem being top of the league is teams will raise their game like Ipswich on Saturday. Oxford will not be an easy task away from home.
I agree with Steve.
Agree with you, Stevie. Agree with you, Stevie.
Are you doing midweek predictions as well or not?
To be honest with you, this is really embarrassing. I actually haven't seen what type of games we've got on Tuesday. And obviously we're playing Plymouth, but the other games I haven't had a time to really delve into.
Nothing that's interesting.
I'll check my phone. I don't know how to foot mob up right now on the laptop. I should be prepared, but I'm not. I don't understand.
I got them right here. So it's Oxford Plymouth, Bristol Rovers Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday Morecambe, Cambridge Cheltenham, Fleetwood Peterborough, Port Vale Barnsley, Accrington Stanley Wycombe, Derby Lincoln, Forest Green Charlton, Bolton MK Dons, Portsmouth Burton, and then the rotten lot Exeter against Shrewsbury.
So nothing interesting then.
I think weirdly, this is probably one of the biggest games.
Yeah.
I think our game is actually the most interesting, let's be honest, without trying to be biased or not.
Well, it's top of the league, high flying against a side that can't win save their life. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be great, Jake.
Doing you a favour and beating Derby.
Stevie saying hello to Connor. What's Jack's thoughts, Ref Robinson?
Oh, okay. In terms of I'm fairly consistent. To be fair, I think for both parties, it's time to part ways, but it's not going to happen now. It probably won't happen now. The conversation, is endless, but I think he is slowly ruining the reputation of him having success at Oxford. But right now, the results aren't good enough. The transfer window, you're going to have Nick on, I think, next week. He'll bang on, and me and Nick are in full agreement. I was speaking to Nick yesterday on the radio. We said the same thing. The transfer windows, he's had 10 transfer windows, and we're talking about being a side in transition. It's unfortunately not good enough, and we really, really are struggling in that sense. And he is talking a lot, which is not always the best of things to do when you're Robinson right now. He's talking a lot, and sometimes he's not watching the game or the same game as the fans feel he should be. But yeah, it won't happen before Plymouth, and it probably won't happen before the end of the season because our owners are 100% behind the manager of Oxford United right now.
Would you change manager? Would you change him if you had the option?
It's so hard. I would if there was an absolute option, and I just don't see a massive sort of a standout candidate to come into that role right now, and I don't think you should risk sacking somebody, taking an interim manager on, and then actually getting relegated, because I think the point that we find ourselves in right now, and I think something that I probably will mention on the video in a minute, is that when does this Robinson debate actually just end and it actually starts to be like a relegation debate? You know, we've got Fleetwood who picked up points yesterday. MK Dons were with there. We gave them a point. Obviously, we had a point as well. We shared it. Teams around us got 2 or 3 games in hand. The majority of them below and above us. So if they start winning those games in hand, we worked it out yesterday. It's unlikely, but if all the teams win those games in hand, we're going to be about 2 points off the bottom 4, and we're going to be about 19th. You know, so it's so tight. We could speak about a manager, but you've got to also speak about the fact that right now we're really struggling, and the priority has to be keeping Oxford United in this division and building on next season. Never nice for a fan to have to think about that, considering what we're only in the start of February. That's the way it is. Football is ever changing, and we have to look at it on face value right now, and we are struggling.
Where do you think? Where do you think your main threats are? Where do you think we can get some joy? You know, where we can exploit your weaknesses.
You'll be getting joy in many areas. I can tell you that. No, I think going forward we're not going to be a massive. I can't see us being a massive threat. But then having said that, I'm always sort of saying this, knowing that I said all of these things when Ipswich came up against us a couple of weeks ago, and we basically, in lots of circumstances, the big one being we couldn't really see the ball for most of it, being in the fog. But
I was about to say that.
But we did win the game, and we were competitive. We made it quite challenging, and that's what I asked of the players and everybody involved with Oxford when they face Plymouth on Tuesday. Make it competitive, make it difficult. Don't make it a rollover for you, and that is only the sort of advice that they're not going to listen to me, but that's what I'd want as a fan. The areas will be, I think, defensively, if we go with a 5 at the back, that could make us a little bit more stable. I think the midfield of Brannigan, Bate, and McGuane, whether we play those 3 all together, they are good. Bate is our massive threat this season. Bate from Leeds United on loan has been exceptional. He scored against MK Dons yesterday. He looks really, really good. I really like Lewis Bate. I think if there's going to be one player to keep an eye out for, it's going to be Lewis.
And also last season you had a brilliant season, you know, in and around the playoffs, and now sort of fell away. What's behind the decline of Oxford going into this season then? What's been the
so many factors: senior figures leaving the football club, poor recruitment in the summer, poor recruitment in January, big players not being replaced when we sold them in the summer as well. Lots of different factors, and so many that, you know, I don't want to waste everyone's time, but there's a lot of things that right now are not falling into place, and it's not just Robinson that has to take responsibility. Unfortunately, he will have to take that responsibility because they're not going to sack players, they're not going to sack board members, they're going to sack the manager. So he has to be the one that takes all that criticism from the fans, etc. But it's unfortunate. It's quite a toxic place at the moment. You know, social media is not a nice place to be around, and as a football fan, you'll know that. You know, you're lucky in a sense that you haven't got to deal with that at the moment. Whether that comes in the future, let's hope not. But right now for us, it's not a nice place to be, and yeah, it's just a bit doom and gloom at the moment.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask when John Mousinho first got unveiled as the new Portsmouth manager. Of course, he's a former player of yours. What was your reaction to that?
Surprised as everyone else was, because it wasn't the candidate that we thought that they'd go for. They were sort of linked with Chris Wilder. They were linked to McCann for a period of time as well before he got sacked from Peterborough. Liam Manning was in the running. All of these names that sort of were rumoured to get the job. There's an England under-19s coach as well that looked like it was gonna happen. Apparently he had an interview, but I think the interview of John Mousinho apparently blew away the lads at Portsmouth. Cullen, I think, made that final decision. He's that CEO, and the director of football, Richard Hughes, as well. He made that quite. It is a bold statement to go and appoint somebody that is a registered League One player and somebody that was only a set-piece coach at Oxford United, but he's got a really bright future ahead of him in management. I hope Pompey stick with John Mousinho and back John Mousinho. I really don't like this idea of him being thrown to the bus because he hasn't got a massive CV. He hasn't got a long list of jobs that he's had success at. I really hope they get behind him and see what he's got to do. Give him a summer, give him longer than that. They've given him a long-term contract. We're talking about developing players. They've gone down the route of developing managers as well, and they're developing a manager like John Mousinho, who is a coach who right now hasn't got an assistant manager with him. He's gone straight in the deep end. I think is a massive opportunity for him that he can't turn down. As an Oxford fan, I'm disappointed because I think we could maybe use him in multiple ways, and maybe as a manager in the near future. I think losing him is one of the key figures, as I said earlier. Yeah, that could be one that we regret, but good luck to John Mousinho. So far, although we lost yesterday and he's had difficult results, he is doing well, and he has got a bounce from that Pompey side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it's shown right now from where Portsmouth are going heading into this road down the second half of the season, and where they'll get harder and harder games. They had to try and prove against Argyle, and it just didn't go their way. And I could tell through the end of the game they tried to just throw everything at us, and at the end they just couldn't get that goal, and ended up conceding from it. And from the way they played, I just don't think they against us. I just don't think they got into a rhythm. If I'm honestly going to say, and I feel like we just ended up being the better team. But I feel like they will end up getting their results. It will just take time, and it's under a new manager. Nathan Jones is available, Jack. Oh God, don't talk about Nathan Jones. I swear to
he's
God.
just been sacked from Southampton.
No, I don't want somebody. Although he is the best in Europe, using his words, I don't think that's a good way to go.
Jack, do you think Oxford gambled too much on the playoffs last season, hence why you're having such a bad season this time around?
Interesting to see what you mean by gamble. I don't know what gamble as in. No, I'm not quite, because we didn't gamble financially. We didn't spend a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
I think what Stevie means is like obviously Oxford went for playoffs last season. Same thing season before. Then of course you're in that playoff final season before, heartbreak against Wickham. I don't know if it's just I don't know if he just means like it's just a bit of a drop off of this season just because of the last 3 seasons or something.
Might be burnout. It might be a psychological thing of needing a change, needing a switch. Could be the end of a cycle. At the end of a cycle, do you change a manager? I don't know. Or do you allow the manager to stay there and be the soul of that cycle, and bring the players in, the new fresh faces. He used the word transition yesterday. I don't agree with transition, because he wouldn't have used transition if we were in that top 6. We're only using transition now is because we're having such a bad season that there's no other. That's the bottom line. Let's not get that mixed up. We're in transition because we're so poor, and I think we're now realizing, and we're now sort of confident and comfortable in saying, for the unfortunate reasons that I've already mentioned, we have got to improve and we have got to get better. We're not going to get the top 6 this season. We're in a relegation battle. Let's get that straight. So did we gamble? No, because any side that try and push us into the top 6, you're going to do it. We didn't financially gamble. We were going to lose players anyway. We lost Luke McNally. We lost Mark Sykes because we didn't get in that top 6. So we had to push for it. It was just going to be a case of, if we got there, we could have kept hold of those players and pushed on, maybe had a bit of backing when it comes to the money side of things, or we didn't get it. And we fell apart at the end and lost a sort of 3 consecutive chance of getting into the top 6. So no, I don't think we did gamble, but you're right, Stevie. We have massively fallen off. And for one reason or another, we're not where we feel we should be based off previous campaigns.
Yeah, and it's coming to question for a lot of teams as well. Like look at MK Dons, for example, last year. But the players that they've lost is another reason why they have had this pretty big drop off from where they were last year. And
Scott Twine leaving, Harry Darling with some big names going.
Who'd you say has been Oxford's best player this season so far, Jack?
Either Lewis Bate or Kieran Brown for me. Marcus McGuane, I'd say, had he's sort of been actually not in the starting 11 the last couple of weeks, so it's a bit of a confusion, as many confusions go at the moment when it comes to being an Oxford United fan. But no, I'd say Lewis Bate has been really, really good. I mentioned him. He's a technical player. He's on loan from Leeds United. He came to the Cobham era at Chelsea. He's a top player. He'll be playing in the Championship minimum next season. So he's a really, really good, handy player. I just wish we had him in a side that was much better all round. Kieran Brown, sort of as a left centre back or a left back, depending on what formation we go with. He's strong. Going forward as well, he's actually quite good. It doesn't look like he's going to be as good going forward, but he does offer that. But defensively and his physicality, he's a top player. So I'd have to say those two. But the problem is we're so inconsistent. So there'll be players that probably will shine against Plymouth on Tuesday, and the players I just mentioned then probably won't turn up and won't play very well. But that is a level of inconsistency for me.
Do you think if you beat Plymouth, you can save your season? Do you think this could be the turning point? You beat Plymouth and then you don't use this to... Or do you think if you beat Plymouth, it's papering over the cracks of? Yeah,
it's paper over the cracks for me. But personally, I don't. It would saving the season. It's like saving from relegation is what we need to do. I'm fed up with this sort of like we are in a relegation battle. I think it's so naive and so ignorant to think that just because we're Oxford United and we've been hovering around the top 6, that we just are so entitled that we can't get relegated. If teams, I've got the league table in front of me right now, if Fleetwood, who got a result yesterday, win those games in hand, who else won? Burton are on an unbelievable run. They won 3 on the bounce. Fleetwood won, like I say. Cheltenham got a draw. MK Dons, we share points with them. Morecambe, they are having a little bit of a resurgence. Accrington do look poor, but they've drawn 2 on the bounce. We can't be naive in thinking that you just because you've been up there before, you can't get dragged into it. Plymouth's going to be a massive test. We've still got Morecambe, we've still got Cambridge to play, which are going to be very, very big games, and we're fully aware of that. But it is paper over the cracks because we know that we can. It would be so Oxford United to go on and get a result against Plymouth, but right now, looking at it, I just can't see it.
Yeah, fair.
I've got the table here actually. So yeah, there we go.
Fair play, Jack, for getting the table up.
I mean, look at that.
9 wins, 9 draws, 13 defeats with 31 games played.
That's 4 defeats on the bounce. A draw against MK Dons, who are down. You can see they're at 20th. We've got you at home. I guess the home advantage is the only thing we're clinging on to right now. Look at the games at hand as well. We played 31 games. Fleetwood
the only thing that surprises me is that I will be I will be honest. I thought after your brilliant win against Ipswich, I thought this could be the turning point in Oxford's season. And then you had that M40 derby against Wickham, but I had Oxford to get a point in that as well. But I guess Wickham had other ideas. But it just surprises me a little, just because I really thought you bounced back on form after that Ipswich win.
Yeah, and I think Wickham was the start of a really, really disappointing run, and Wickham do what Wickham do best. They did it to Derby at home. At home, they're an absolute threat. They're so troublesome, and they're going to cause so many problems, as they already do and have done in League One. Against any opposition, they're a top side. Under Gareth Ainsworth, they're so well organised, you just can't write them off.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at keep that table up there, Jack, as well. If you look at most of the top 12 there, well, look at the teams that lost yesterday as well, like Peterborough, Scum, Portsmouth, Charlton, and they're obviously there are teams right now that have just been yo-yoing around 14th, 10th, around that position. And
I think we are getting down to the point of the season where we're seeing that sort of gap. For a long time, we're sort of like from 14th to 6th, there's a chance. But I think we are now seeing a little bit of a divide now. Yeah. But at the same time, there's still a lot of games to go.
2 points between, let me have a look. So there's 2 points between 16th and 10th.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a big battle between 10th and 16th. Any one of those teams can easily finish in the top half.
Mm-hmm.
I just worry about those games at hand. We've played 31 games. Portsmouth are 11th. Have played 28 games. So if they win those games at hand, they're 9 points away.
They'll probably beat Burn. Have they got them at home?
It's interesting because they do. It's interesting because I in my midway predictions I had Lincoln to finish 10th come end of the season.
They still might. Lincoln look at top side right now.
Jack,
I didn't have Oxford 16th. I had Oxford higher than that. I think I had Oxford 14th come end of the season.
Still possible. We're only 1 point away, but it's just those games at hand. And most importantly, the confidence.
Let me see why I had Oxford.
I think you had Oxford lower, Liam.
Oh, where did I have Oxford?
17th.
Oh, didn't I, Jack?
17th.
Yeah, and that's where Fleetwood is now. And yeah.
When did you do those predictions?
It was middle of it was during January.
It was middle of January. I'd done them.
Yeah, January.
Liam probably had the best call then, by the looks of it.
Where did I put Oxford? I put Oxford 10th. Oh Jesus!
Yeah, no chance.
I had Burton bottom. I had Forest Green 23rd, Cambridge 22nd, Morecambe 21st, Aki 20th. 19th, I think I had MK. Yeah, I did. 18th, I had Fleetwood. 17th, Cheltenham. 16th, Port Vale. 15th, the Tossers. 14th,
Tossers.
14th, Oxford. 13th, Shrewsbury. 12th, Charlton. My surprise one was Peterborough 11th. I had Peterborough 11th. I don't think they're going to do that now, to be honest, even if they did get hammered 5-0. But It might still happen. I don't know. But that was one I wanted to put a little bit lower. I had Peterborough 11th. I had 10th. I had Lincoln. 9th. I had Rovers. 8th. I had Barnsley. 7th. I had Wickham. I did have Wickham 6th, but because I looked that Pompey and Wickham had each other on the last day at Fratton Park, I thought Pompey would be 7th, 8th for most of the end of the season, and then they nicked 6th from Wickham on the last day. But that would have put them against, because I had Sheffield Wednesday 3rd, so I would have put Pompey against Wednesday in the playoff semi-finals, but I would have had Wednesday to beat them in the semi-finals, absolutely no problem. I had them 6th, I had Bolton 5th, Derby 4th, Wednesday 3rd, and I know this might sound biased, but yes, I did have us to win the league and Ipswich to come 2nd. So there you are. And then Bolton to beat Derby in the playoff semi-finals, and then Wednesday to beat Bolton in the final. That's what I had.
Yeah. And Bolton fan Connor just said, bottom half teams looking at really tough games on Tuesday.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I'll get the fixtures up, actually, while we're saying that.
You can see them there on the right.
Just want to get your thoughts on Jack. Do you think we've got do you think we've got a good chance of winning the Papa John's Trophy?
Yeah, yes, I would say that. To be fair, I'll be lying if I sort of avidly followed it. We got knocked out in the group stage against Sutton United, so we were long gone. But no, I think you're in a good place. And I sort of throw back a question to you: is that do you see it as a distraction or do you see it as a positive?
I think it's a positive because I think it's a willing mentality to keep pushing and to win silverware and to have a good end to the season.
I think it sounds stupid, but it only becomes a distraction when you start losing games in League One.
Yeah. But I can't see us losing to Cheltenham. I can see us absolutely smashing them, to be honest.
But it's like with Rotherham last year. Rotherham done it last year. They won the Papa John's Trophy and got promoted.
I said yesterday in my video, I was really confident all week that we were going to turn over Portsmouth. I said that we were going to smash them 3-0. I was super confident we were going to absolutely do them.
You were so close as well with that, Craig.
Yeah, I know. I said 3-0 to absolutely batter.
Yeah, I said 3-1. So,
right, boys, I'm gonna shoot, but I'll do my score prediction. Do you want me to do my score prediction now for the game?
Yeah.
You're not doing it on the video.
I will, but I probably will do a video, but I could do one now if you want me to do a score prediction.
I was going to say, if you want, you could say all your score predictions for Tuesday night if you like, mate. It's completely up to you.
I'll run through them really quickly. I'd sort of without thinking
Start from the top. Start from the top.
I'll go.
Now we're here.
2-0 Wickham.
Yep.
2-0 Bolton.
Yep.
1-1.
Yep.
Bristol Rovers Ipswich. 0-0 Cambridge Cheltenham.
Yes.
Good.
2-1 Derby. Sorry, Jake.
I'd love to see Lincoln get a point. That would be amazing.
I actually think about it. It'll be tight. Exeter Shrewsbury. I'd go. Right now, Shrewsbury look unbelievable. I'd probably go 2-1 Shrewsbury.
That's what I went for as well.
Fleetwood Peterborough. You'd probably go.
I don't think you need to scroll down anymore.
Fleetwood's home record to shambles. But Peterborough just got smashed at home against Bolton, so this really could go either way. I'd probably actually go 1-1.
That's
honest. Forest Green Charlton. I'd probably go. Charlton lost at home to Fleetwood, but we know Fleetwood's home records, our away record's good. Forest Green Rovers at the moment keep just losing games at the last minute, or drawing games at the last minute. I'd go 2-1 Charlton though.
Yeah.
Also Plymouth, my always way of doing this, I'll do a heart and a head. Head says 2-0 Plymouth. My heart says 1-1. If we can nick a point, that'd be unbelievable, but I don't think we will. So my head would say 2-0 Plymouth, to be honest. Port Vale Barnsley. 1-1. Barnsley might nick it.
I can see that happening, you know.
Portsmouth will beat Burton 3-1. And Sheffield Wednesday will beat Morecambe 5-0.
5-0,
jeez.
I just think Sheffield Wednesday at home against that sort of side, they look.
But Derby did it.
That's what I mean. I just think they. Well, maybe 5-0 is a bit. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way towards Morecambe. It'll be between 3 and 5.
Liam. He must have accidentally left.
Right, boys. I'm going to shoot. Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries, Jack. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, brilliant, Jack. Yep.
And good luck on Tuesday. Not that you'll probably need it, but yeah, enjoy it. You'll have plenty of fun, I'm sure. And I'll be watching. Are you all going to the game?
I'll let you
Oh,
know
no,
how my
no.
away day goes.
I'll probably end up doing a watch along for sure.
I'm watching it from here in London, so I probably will be watching it on iFollow, so I can scream here instead of screaming the ground. But it'll be a good game, hopefully.
Nice.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
All right,
See
see
you
you
later,
later,
mate.
Jack. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Can I
But
give
yeah.
can I give my thoughts? Because I've got to shoot as well. I've got dinner with.
Yeah,
family
yeah,
and
that's all right. Yeah,
No
go
worries.
for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an easy game. I think very confident after Portsmouth. I think we're going to. Didn't want to say it in front of him because I knew. But I think honestly, I'm going to go 3-0 again. I think we're going to be absolutely ruthless. I think we could go there with the mentality to go out there and absolutely batter them, because we've done this all season. We've got to been flaky away from home. We've got to go there with the mentality that we're going to go there, lay down a marker, and absolutely batter every single team from now to the end of the season to win this league. That's what it's going to take.
Come on.
A ruthless mentality. Because I said it to 4-0. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it to every single fan watching this across the league. We are going to win this league. Watch it. We are coming for you. We're going to batter every single team across every single stadium. You're going to get absolutely destroyed by the Green Army. I'm sorry, I'm not saying it. And my score prediction,
That's
3-0 Argyle. Absolutely confident.
Goal
It might
scorers?
mean we don't win the league, but I don't care. 3-0. Game
Goal
over.
scorers?
Done. Goal scorers. I've heard from my source I was wrong. Niall Ennis should be back for this game. I've heard from my source again that Niall Ennis is going to be back for this game. I'm going to go Ryan Hardy 2, and I'm going to go with Biley Mumber on the score sheet as well.
Dubs.
Overall.
Don't worry, it didn't sound like I was fapping. I was actually clapping. Don't worry.
Right, boys. I shall see you later.
I'm very happy.
Enjoy your rest of your stream. Thanks for having me on, lads.
See you later.
You on tomorrow, Craig?
No, I've got a course of Argyle tomorrow.
Oh,
so
yeah, of course you have. Yeah, no, yeah. Hope that goes
and,
well.
and Craig, before you go, I know what course you're on because I was on that course a couple of months ago.
Oh, nice one, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it definitely is, mate. Right.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everyone. See you guys later on.
Bye-bye.
See you later, Craig. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you, Craig, and thank you, Jet Film Young Fab Podcast, for coming on. Brilliant to have guests on. It's always great.